Hello and welcome. I am Giles Alderson. This is episode 144 of the Filmmakers Podcast. Whoop! This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking from indie film to studio films and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how not to F it up. Like I nearly did with the intro there, in our very humble opinion. Today, we are talking to the creators of A Serial Killer's Guide to Life, which is released today!
Yes!
Yeah, I'm with Staten Cousins Roe, writer, director, editor, and I'm with Poppy Roe, who is the producer, star, editor.
Yes!
Serial Killer's Guide to Life. That's how you make indie films. You do fucking everything.
We just did it all.
Do it all.
And we're here with Giles Alderson, who is producer of A Serial Killer's Guide to Life.
Yes!
Thank you, Staten. Yes! This is amazing, right? I've been talking about Serial Killer's Guide to Life since I started the podcast, right? It's always been mentioned.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So those of you who've been bored by this for the last
Never.
2.5 years, of just me dropping the name, now you know what the name is. The film is out today.
This very day. People don't realise they dream of it now because you've dropped it in so many times.
Yeah.
They just know they need it.
They know.
They don't know why.
No,
they hunger
why.
and thirst for it.
Yes,
That was our technique.
That's the technique. Just keep serialkillersguidetolife.com. It's just
Keep saying it.
Did you hear that voice then? It said
No.
serialkillersguidetolife.com.
No, I
it
didn't
just
hear
sort
that.
of dropped
Did it,
in.
Did it just drop in?
Yeah, I think
Insidious.
I heard it.
I think it's people dreaming. They're just listening to this
Nightmare.
nightmare of this. So we are about to go to the official opening night at
Public
Kino
screening.
in Bermondsey, and they've very kindly given us a little room over the road from this first ever public screening of the film that's released today. This podcast is going out tomorrow morning, so literally this is the night before.
Amazing.
And,
Yeah.
Robbie is fantastically going to edit this while we're watching this screening, or we'll be drinking.
Oh, it's all go.
And it's just amazing. I'm actually delighted. How do you feel? Right, it's getting released today.
Yeah.
This must be amazing. The build up to this,
It's incredible.
He's smiling his head off.
Yeah, I tired.
I said I had a little cry today, actually.
Did you? That's
yeah,
nice.
It was an emotional moment. It's just
What were you doing? Was it anything to do with this, or
I just had a cry.
just a cry?
I just realised. I think I was doing one of my many social media posting, and it just suddenly sunk in that we're here. We've made it. It's been a long journey.
It has been a long journey.
It is
Yeah.
release day. Yeah, it's I feel exactly that.
Speechless. It would appear.
It's been a long journey. It's been thousands of hours of work to bring it to this point,
It has, hasn't it?
From a lot of different people.
and from a lot of different
Yeah.
people, and even thousands of hours of individual work. Our individual work.
Well, you guys
just
have been
us.
working on this for literally nearly 3 years, coming up to 3 years. I mean, before that as well, with writing it and stuff, and being a concept and a
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, luckily the
from
script.
scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
3
script,
years.
the script is probably from the idea coming to be.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years, which shows that the script came together, well. It neatly.
It came together well.
Yeah.
as in it didn't take too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel it's amazing to have it be release day today. I'm not quite sure. I think I'll catch up with myself tomorrow because it's release day not only in the UK but also in the USA and in Canada.
Yeah.
So
We should add.
We should add,
Yeah.
because we have many, many listeners from America. Now, actually, it's nearly as many as the UK. And we have
Wow.
thousands and thousands, and it's just brilliant. Thank you all so much for listening.
That's
We love you
fabulous.
all. So, America, go get it. You can get it now. You can go watch it.
jump on Amazon Video,
Yeah.
type in A
iTunes,
Serial Killer's Guide to
Sky
Life,
Store.
Apple
You know.
TV.
rent it, buy it. There it is.
Serial
Apple
Killer's
TV,
Guide to Life.
iTunes. Actually, iTunes and Apple TV have wonderful extras. We'll talk more about them later,
We
but
will.
there's
Yeah.
a 50-minute behind-the-scenes documentary included on that, which for listeners of this, I think they'd probably really appreciate, because it really does take. It goes through the entire 2-week shoot, and it really just, you'll see, if you want to make a film, getting that behind-the-scenes documentary through them, you'll really get a proper idea of how this film
You'll
was
see
made.
everything, because we forgot we were being filmed.
Well,
by
that's
day two.
that's what's great about behind the scenes, isn't it? Eventually you do forget, and they're the gold moments where you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, directing, and not think there's a camera there.
You'll actually see Giles
don't. I know.
hidden behind a
that's a
behind
nice
a-
bit. It's when I'm
hiding.
kicking off about the keys.
Oh, yeah.
my God. Damn it.
when Giles lost the keys, only for a little while though.
Yes, exactly.
in the pouring rain.
Yeah, but that was indie filmmaking, and so
Do you know what? I think it's filmmaking. I don't even think it's indie filmmaking. I think
you're
that
right,
happens on
no matter
every
what budget.
level of budget. That's filmmaking.
there's always something missing. There's always, so you've got to compromise, right? From doing this podcast for this long, I've realised that even the big people who've done big movies to us and even smaller making little micro budget movies, and it is about compromise every step of the way.
and problem
Problem-solving.
solving.
You two, you should marry.
We should get married and work together.
This is what it's been like for 3
Have
years,
babies.
people. 3
Speaking
years.
of which,
The problem
your babies-
comes is when we don't say the same thing at the same time.
Right, the opposite. That would have been
Yeah.
terrible. If you'd-
Conflict.
Then we're just
Yes.
like,
See, we'll talk about that, of making a film together when you live together and you have babies together
Yeah.
during that time, which is...
who is outside the door right now? Our
Just-
4.5-month baby.
Just left him
being
outside.
held.
Yeah.
He's very
It's
independent
all right.
already.
He's with my brother, people. It's okay. It's okay.
And we'll talk about 4.5 months. It's 4.5 months since the premiere at Fright Fest, and that was pretty
That's
much
it.
the day you gave birth.
Which was
Yeah.
a few hours after he came to be, and well, that's
Bad timing. He wasn't
Yeah,
listening.
what's wrong with you
I
two?
really wanted to be at the premiere, and I said, "Don't come out now," and he did.
Came out at the
Yeah.
literally the
Yeah.
night of the premiere.
it was extraordinary. Yeah,
Still, why didn't you turn up?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
Really
come on.
lazy.
Yeah, just lazy.
unprofessional is the word
I
I'd
think,
use.
yeah, you two know that. Look, obviously,
We're jumping around, aren't
but I
we?
love that. I love that. I think that's how it should be. And I should say that you two are going to be joining us on the Make Your Film panel on the 28th of January
Looking
as well.
forward to that,
talk
yeah.
more
Very
serial
excited about
killers.
that.
So if you're around and want to meet these two and pick their brains about making a micro-budget indie feature film, come down and join us 28th. Link to that is in the show notes. And we've got a second guest announced, which is Gareth Ellis Unwin, who was a producer of The King's Speech.
Brilliant.
And many others.
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary,
film.
extraordinary. I have to give some shout outs first, right?
Do.
These are all the people who listened to last week's really quite incredible podcast with Christy Wilson Cairns, who's a screenwriter of 1917. If you
Yeah.
didn't know, if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that. We're a little bit high, maybe higher than we are right now, buzzing from the fact that Serial Killers is being released. And we talk in depth about how she made 1917. And you lot have been amazing this week. I've had so many nice comments, so many retweets and love. And I just want to give a shout out to some of those people who did that. So we've got
Sounds brilliant.
Ethan Michaels, Stephen Parker, and Diane and Paul Knight, whose film 24 Hours in London is released today as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
awesome.
So it should be on the
I've seen
podcast
them
next week.
tweeting and yeah,
They're amazing,
brilliant.
lovely, lovely people, and they're always supportive. So do go get that as well. Who else? We've got Anna Rubin, we've got James Boyle, Kelly Jubilee, Andy Robinson, Mark Hammett, James Hester, Johnny Pappas, and my editor on Knights of Camelot, Oliver Parker, who went above and beyond this week because we delivered the film Picture Locked on Friday
Congratulations.
at 2 a.m.
Amazing.
What? Go on, what? You can
Are we
say-
allowed to say that we saw a rough cut and it was brilliant?
No.
Okay, that bit will be edited out then.
No, keep it in. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm really pleased.
It's great.
No, of
It's
course.
so
of course. I
exciting.
wanted to
Really
send it to a couple of
exciting.
people I respect and in the industry.
And also send it to us.
Yeah, because I knew that I was seeing you, and I thought this is going to be awkward if I don't. But yeah, we delivered. So thank you, Oliver Parker. He went way and above and beyond my editor to get it
Congrats.
delivered for 2 a.m. So it's Picture Locked on that. How exciting!
That is so exciting. And what-
Relief,
Another
I'm
movie
sure.
done. I say
Absolutely.
done. We've got all the rest of it to do yet. Grade, VFX,
Quite a bit.
sound.
it's great that when they say,
Yeah.
Picture
Well,
Locked.
we've
Picture
shot
Locked.
it, so we've done it. We've
Yeah.
edited it, so we've done it.
Well, isn't that
Yeah, you're
interesting? Where a
kind
lot
of
of
a
people
third of the
do
way through.
think that, yeah, it's not even a third, right? Because then you've got distribution to talk
Distribution's a
about.
full third.
Yeah.
So that's, and
That's
then-
something I
yeah,
didn't realise.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting because, so a lot of the time you can think that the script is, a quarter. I think getting the script done is probably about a fifth. Then you've got pre-production, shoot, takes you through.
Two-fifths.
Finance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you've got all of post. You've got edit, which is massive of itself. Then you've got sound, the creation of the sound, which is massive of itself. And then finally you come through to, distribution. And that in itself, finding
That's when your work
distribution first of
begins.
all.
Yeah, totally.
but also there's parts of distribution. So you've got to actually you find distribution. You run sales screenings. You hopefully, as we were very lucky, you gather offers.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got more than one on the table, and then you pick through them, negotiate that contract. You're not going to just take what you're initially offered. You've got to negotiate. I spent a couple of hours negotiating our contract over a period of days, line by line. And then once you actually do distribute, you've got the process of all the artworks and everything like that. And
Publicising.
Then when you actually come to release, first of all, you've got the lead up to release. If you're lucky supported by the distributor and you haven't yet, you've got the film festival release, you've got the publicity of all of that, and then you've got the actual release itself and all of the publicity involved. And that's not just people coming to you and saying, could you do this interview?
Yep.
If you're lucky, we have a wonderful PR called Alex Rowley, ARPR, who's running this through Arrow.
Excellent.
But also we're doing, we're not just leaving it to her. We want to help her help us. And so we're reaching out, social, everything involved. And then you've got release day, which takes us to today with our film. And so it's a total misnomer that when you edit the film, you're almost done.
Isn't that amazing? And that was I'd say that was a brilliant way of describing it and going through that process. But in fact, there's hundreds of other little bits and pieces to go through within that as well. Contracts, deliverables. And you guys have just gone through all that and how hard that is. And just
hence I had a little cry today.
Because but you should. It's a real achievement to make a movie. And you should be proud as hell of this movie. I know I am, because it's an incredible film. It's getting 5 stars across the board, pretty much.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
Great
it's
reviews.
100% Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. I mean, it's released today, so maybe that'll change. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So
we've got I think there's like good 10 reviews growing on there. So
if you're around, look, just support it anyway. Go on IMDb and give it a really good review anyway, because it all really helps. It's massive.
Absolutely.
It's so important to support indie films. Those people who are going out there and making a film, which is what I bang on about this podcast all the time, is go out there and do it yourself and make it happen. And that's what you guys did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
using what you know, using who you know, using, it's grassroots, isn't it?
It's why I'm really excited to be talking on this podcast and the Make Your Film event. We spoke on here when we did This Way Out, which you also produced with us.
I did, but coming to that, I just want to... You are on the 4th ever episode of the podcast.
Oh, is that true?
That's right.
And we're on
104, T4.
Wow.
140 other episodes.
Between.
Between.
Well done, maths there. Yeah.
That's amazing.
We were the 4th.
So Isn't that...
Yeah.
But what I really like about that is the fact that you were on the 4th ever podcast. You are not the first to come back with another film to talk about it, but you're the first couple to come back.
Interesting.
So congratulations to you. But anyway, we were talking about the fact that it's sorry, I'm pretty high right now. Not on drugs or anything, just on life. I know we haven't.
It's pretty exhilarating,
I love
isn't
the
it?
fact that this film's coming.
I mean,
out
while we're sat here,
I love it.
There's everything's happening on Twitter. It's all flooding through. We're getting
There's a lot of buzz
reviews,
as well.
more reviews coming out from the US and the UK. Everything's happening literally while we're sat here here now talking.
And I think what's different about this is that when people like this film, they're really, really liking it. Like, they're loving it. People are connecting with it and really and wanting to tell other people about it. And I think that's...
There was that wonderful quote from the Hollywood News which said, set to become a cult classic. And
amazing.
I really feel like, with people that are really loving it and getting it, it has that element of becoming owned by them, of a cult film that's
what you want, right? Fans that stay with you for life,
and that we can have a
who
dialogue
like the
with.
black comedy, who like the dark, who get the tone, because it's a unique tone.
We love those people that connect, and we can connect over social media, and actually, and there's a number of them that we connected with through This Way Out became Kickstarter backers on if they weren't already on with This Way Out on this film, and we've come to we see them at screenings. They've come along and they retweet and tweet things and wonderful gifts and
Facebook and
building a family.
it's a really wonderful, lovely thing. So that's why we're excited and high right now.
Totally, and we should be, because not every day is release day.
No.
How hard we work as filmmakers, right? Everyone out there listening, most of you are filmmakers, and how hard it is to get a film out there. So we should be buzzing, because films out there, and it's today. So you lot are getting this wonderful moment of us lot being ridiculously excited by this, but why not? And do you know what? Do support it and do go out there and do watch this however you can. If nothing else, go to our Twitters and retweet it at Killer's Guide. Links all in the show notes. Go to Filmmakers Pod. It's all there as well. Do support.
Great.
And you can see, if you go to www.serialkillersguidetolife.com,
serialkillersguidetolife.com.
if we haven't mentioned it enough already, even while you're listening to the podcast, type it in, go, and you'll see there's
Everything's
all
there.
the links.
There's sneak clips on there.
And also our social media, so you can connect with us. We'd love, if you, when you watch it, we'd love for you to connect with us online. Ask your filmmaking
Always.
questions. Say,
Do it.
Staten, how did you do that shot at 34 minutes in with Lou and Val doing this? Ask me. I'd really love
And you'll be
that.
like, I have no fucking idea.
Oh, he knows.
Storyboard an awful lot.
He
but
knows.
yes.
Yeah, well, let's get to that. Let's actually get to how you made this film then from the beginning. You talked there about This Way Out. This was the short film that you made, and I was lucky enough to come and produce with you. We made it in your flat in South London.
Which we turned into a euthanasia clinic
Yes,
for the
because the
4
short
days.
film was about a euthanasia clinic, just to be clear.
Disturbing.
Not actually turned into one, which is horrific.
And just before we move on, while we're here, you can watch the short for free, actually. If you go to however many W's,
You don't need
I've
to
been
say
up a
W
lot.
anymore.
No, thiswayoutmovie.com.
Yeah.
And you can click through on this thing called Gumroad, and you can. It says pay what you want. Just
This
don't
thing.
put any money in.
Or do.
And watch it, and then come back, listen to the rest of the podcast, watch it after and then watch that, and then watch the feature, and you'll get a real idea of the connection between this, because it's got Poppy and Katie,
the 2 leads.
Braben, who is now an Olivier Award winner, playing the 2 leads in that, and you'll see the connection between them. Back to you, Giles.
I love that. I'll put links to all that in the show notes. But you made the short, and it did incredibly well. It did incredibly well. Got on the HBO channel.
Screened at over 30
Sundance
international
channel.
film festivals, longlisted for a BAFTA, acquired by HBO and the Sundance Channel, won a bunch of awards.
Just listed that off like it was nothing, and it's
I said it,
amazing.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was
surprising.
shot in our flat, and we, homemade. Poppy was making food as well as other we both were for the crew overnight. We stored it in our joint hallway with our neighbours. Asked them if it was all right.
You also first AD'd, I think, on that too, as well as producing.
I did as well, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was also in it.
You were in it.
I was Lemonade Man, right? Lemonade Boy.
Yeah, people could spot that
It's
in
a
the
great
trailer
joke,
for
that.
it.
I'm in the
great.
trailer. That's as much as I'm in the film,
yeah.
thankfully.
I think for what the listeners of this are thinking, that was very much. I was like, we're going to make I'm going to direct my first short film. I'd produced a couple. I'd been an actor previous to that.
Yeah.
And that was completely homemade. And there you are.
We crowdfunded for that, but actually we thought we'll just see if we can get some
we
finance.
raised what we needed. We needed a few grand just to get it, going.
And how did you just put out to friends and family with that? Did you do a big push?
Yeah, we did a fairly sizable push, but it's everything about crowdfunding. If you put 3 days aside and you were research solidly for 3 days, you'll find out exactly how to crowdfund the best way.
Yeah.
And it will. We just looked and found that there was an algorithm or whatever it was.
And looked at successful campaigns.
And we looked at successful campaigns and replicated them, and it went out way beyond friends and family. We had backers from America and all of that.
Because it was a great idea. I think that
well.
the concept was really high, and I think that people again like that kind of comedy, like that dark humour, and then
in short, it's oddball owner of a euthanasia centre has, and her idiot assistant have 10 days to raise client numbers or face closure. So it's a great concept. It's a jet black comedy, and it's very much satirising our target-driven society, but in a dark and funny way. And so, I think that concept rang with people, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then after that, we got some meetings, didn't you? And we kind of developed it for a bit and wanted to make it into a TV series. It was kind of,
which we still want to do.
Talks about that, and we kind of
started
that process. And then Staten had a few meetings, really great ones with some great, big household names, and they were really great. And you phoned me after one of them and said, let's just make our own feature film. And I said, yeah.
The same way as This Way
How
Out.
hard can that be?
And that was the key, wasn't it? The same way as This Way Out. I wasn't expecting you to bloody say yes, was I?
Yeah, no, you go. No, keep with the TV.
No, I'm
thing,
doing it.
man.
I'm kickstarting now.
Yeah.
But
Just set it up.
But it was the key was that we wanted to work with as much of the same team as possible as with This Way Out, and
We
make
wanted
it
to
in the
get
same
something
way.
made, like make your film. We just wanted to get something made.
Yeah. Yes.
And that
not
we
be stuck in
had and
development for too many
Well,
years.
this is the situation. People who make shorts, and so many people go make a short, and they go brilliant, and the short can be amazing and do really well, Oscar winners, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're going to go make a feature, because, as we found, when I was knocking on doors after all my shorts and all the stuff, whatever it had won, people just went, "So you haven't made a feature?"
I
yet?"
remember actually having a meeting. I can't remember if it was with an agent or an exec, but they said the rules are different now. What used to be you'd make a cracking short as your calling card. Now you make a low budget film,
Yeah.
Cool, because it's about the same amount
low
of money.
budget feature.
Right?
Essentially.
you can make a feature for the amount that you used to be able to make a short
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these days, especially with the amount of kit you can get, the people you know, and I think that's what also is important, who you know. And you mentioned it there about working with the same teams, but you two have been actors, you've been around the business, you knew enough people to say, actually, maybe we can find a DP who worked with on a short or on a TV program, bring in the right people, and suddenly you're making stuff.
Right actors.
Yeah.
And because you brought on James Layton to
Yes,
This Way Out,
the DOP,
fabulous James Layton, who then stuck with us and came with on for Killer's Guide.
Yeah.
An incredibly talented guy, and exactly that was a relationship that you built up over time, and
Totally, and you two, because you'd made the short together, you understood each other's.
Yep.
There's a shorthand there.
Yeah, there's already a shorthand. You got what you were talking about. So when it came to the feature, which is vitally important, especially director to DP, that relationship is vital. It's important that you're on at least the same page to make things, move forward.
more than the same page. Yeah, vital.
Yeah, exactly. It's so important. So right, okay, so
And I have worked with. I think it's talking to these guys on the podcast. I think it's important to pick up these things as well, the practical elements of it. There was actually previously a different person that I was going to work with on the short and a short film, and the chemistry wasn't right, and that's why we actually parted quite close to shooting, and that's where James came in. And instant I met him, I knew that we had the right chemistry.
Yes.
So it's important to know when things are working, but also know when they're not quite working. And it's nothing personal. It's about communication and how people speak to each other and just the chemistry there. And,
well, especially if you're putting so much effort into something, and not just effort, but it's your baby, something you've really worked hard at doing.
And I think this is really important as well.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby.
No.
It can be, but for us, it's not a hobby. It's a career.
Yeah.
And what you don't do with a career is treat it like a hobby and think, oh well, I'll do with that, or I'll only look to have this level of quality because, like you say, you're putting in all this effort, you're putting in time, and your time has a value.
Yes.
It has a monetary value. You could be spending that time pushing forward your career in a different way, and so it's really important to quantify your time and gather people around who are going to appreciate and put in the same level of precision that you're going to insist upon. And that's the only way, especially with something like this, where you can wrangle everything and make sure and push it through and that's where I think when they talk about someone having a vision, what they're actually speaking about is someone who's going to sweep everything up and keep everybody focused to achieve a single goal, single outcome with many different pieces, and that's the trick. That's what's hard about it, and that's why you have to stay focused to make that happen.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important as well, and touching on that massively is if something's not really working with, whether it's a production partner or whatever it is, a screenwriting partner, if it's not working, it's just you butting heads, it's all right, move on. Say, okay, cool, we tried that. Don't try and keep forcing it because that's your only option, but it's not. There's other people you can meet and work with and find. You come to networking events like Make Your Film, but there's many others as well.
And I think that it's important. The flip side of that as well is also also recognise when it is working well, and because the other side of that is that it's easy to overlook what's right in front of your face. Sometimes it's easy to think, oh, this actor over here, or if I got someone a bit more famous, or a bit more this or a bit that.
Yeah.
But actually, you've got this team around you, or friends, or people you know,
Totally.
and draw them in.
Especially people who make it look easy, and you think actually to make it look easy, you're really good at your job.
Yes.
And so appreciating people as much as
I'd say one of the key things is not only ability, people you're working with, but it's attitude. And if they have the same desire as you, if they're willing to push forwards, and they have the same passion as you, then what will happen is you'll learn together.
Yeah.
And that's the key. It's better to work with someone who perhaps doesn't quite have the same level of experience as somebody else, but they have the same passion and they want to achieve a brilliant outcome and tell an amazing and moving or funny or thrilling story.
Yep. Yeah,
and work with them and
same goes for me with actors as well. In terms of, there's so many I brought on from the Dare who came onto the Knights of Camelot with me, because it's the same thing. I would have loved to bring the crew, but they're all in Bulgaria, so it's very hard. So I just brought my DP Andy, and anyone else I'd worked with along the way. But actors as well, you get how they're going to work, and you want to work with the same people, same crew, and you bring your tribe and you bring your team with you, and that's why it was nice to work with you guys on Serial Killers as well. And it was like when you rang up and said, look, can you come on board, it was like, well, absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's worth saying, sorry,
I was going to say about the acting. I felt like on Serial Killers, because we had, Katie and I were kind of in every day, but we had a lot of actors just come in for a day or two, and they had to kind of hit the ground running. And it's it's really tough, especially when everybody knows each other. We've all settled in. We're kind of all very focused, and a lot that could unnerve a lot of actors. And I just think we were so lucky with the talent that we got. Everybody came, having done the work, bringing what they had, and it was, of course it was Statton's direction and the atmosphere created on set, but I felt like everybody just came in at the right level and brought brilliant performances, which is what I think this film has. You can't put a price on that, for budget wise. If you get great performances from actors, that can, make any production value so high. Yeah. And I felt like we were really lucky. We were really, I say lucky. We cast a lot of people we've worked with before.
And it's a great opportunity to jump in and mention a fourth producer who's not here with us today, producer Charity Wakefield, who came on board, and she actually brought on as well as us bringing a number of actors that we worked with before, she brought on a number of her connections and friends who did a brilliant job, like Sean Clifford, Tommy Eden, Sinead Matthews.
Ben Lloyd Hughes.
Ben Lloyd Hughes, of course, who plays the wonderful
Chuck Noah.
Noah, absolutely.
Great name.
And actually where Charity is right now is she is messaging other cinemas as she's negotiating more screenings, which will be coming soon.
There are more screenings.
There are more screenings coming up. So go to aserialkillersguidetolife.com and check out when the next screenings are. There's one in Hastings this Friday, if any of you are near that area in England.
Yeah, Friday the
we've got one
17th
in Norwood,
of January.
Yeah, one in 17th. Catford.
One in Catford.
Others coming up.
Just announcing today, I think it's not quite up, but that will be on the 30th of January at Catford Mews. But you'll find it all online anyway.
Perfect. Yeah. Links again to that is in the show notes. So yes, you let's talk about the actual process of then writing it and getting it to where it is today. In terms of, okay, you said you were at meeting some big actress, you don't want to name it, and
so big companies, film production companies.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
talking about film ideas.
Sure. And you went, we want to make our own, which is brilliant.
Right? I think it was. So I had the meeting. In the meeting. In that particular meeting, had a number of these. It was great. It felt like really good match. We want to work. We're going to work with these people at some point. These big production companies. But I also felt like, you know what, my gut feeling is I need to make my first feature the way we made This Way Out. So exactly, I come out, phone Poppy. This is what we're going to do. She's amazing and incredible, and said yes.
I'm looking at her with love right now.
She said so yes, nice. Let's do
She's
it.
Laughing.
And so then
little did we know.
I'd been writing Serial Killers for a few months at that point. I'd actually previously I'd been working and writing another script, which I thought was going to be my first feature, and then I came across the self-help idea, because I'd been looking for an idea where I could use Poppy and Katie as a duo again,
because we're so fantastic in This Way Out.
Yeah, it worked so well. Like, I just didn't feel like the euthanasia element was going to be hilarious for a full feature film. I felt like it worked better as a TV show.
Yeah.
And so we had the script. It was still being written, but then we hit go on that.
Yeah.
And that's how we started rolling with that, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and we thought we'd test the concept, didn't we? Basically, it was
Yeah.
we were going to kickstart the finance, the initial finance to get shooting, and if we raise the money, then we've got a film. If we didn't, then it's a rubbish idea. Let's not do it anyway.
I think that's really important.
That
doing
is
that.
really interesting. Yeah.
Use it as
Proof of concept.
use it as proof of concept. You've got to have a concept that an audience wants to see, and it's easy. And that's actually harder than it sounds.
It's really hard to come up with a great concept. It's really hard.
And there's nothing like putting everything onto one page, because, you know, with a crowdfunding page, you have to put up your video, your pictures, your pitch, who you've got, why you want to make it, why you should make it. Yeah, exactly. What do you want to make it for?
Why give a shit about giving any money to us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing like putting everything onto one page and seeing it in front of you to condense and focus you into what, have we got an idea here? Is this good enough? Is this interesting? And actually, when we built that page, we spent quite a long time making that page, didn't we? And we shot a video. Katie and I did a video, a lot of giggling.
Still very funny.
Yeah,
It's up online still on the Kickstarter thing.
You
But
can
I think
see
it's
it,
interesting
yeah.
if people want to see it.
To see how a successful Kickstarter happened. It was Kickstarter you went
Yeah.
on in the end.
Yeah, it was with that
and we
one, yeah.
raised 150% of our target in the end,
Which is incredible.
which was looking to test the concept, we didn't know whether we were going to raise the money. In the first 5 days of the 28-day campaign, we raised all the finance,
Which is
And-
just incredible. Do you want to say how much this?
Yeah, so we raised. We started with 18.5 grand as our target.
Did you think at that point this was doable, or did you go, look, we're just maybe pissing in the wind?
we
you
set
know
it
what?
quite low. We set it a little bit low because with Kickstarter they have a system where if you don't raise the full money, you don't get anything.
Yes.
So it's kind of all or nothing.
Scary.
You're putting your cards on the table there. So
Yeah.
we did
But
set
it
it
is
quite
better
low.
to do all or nothing.
What makes you work harder, right?
It makes you
It
work
makes
harder,
you
but
work harder. It
also
makes people
statistically more campaigns that do that reach their target.
Well-
Again, if you Google all this, you can find
it. Well, we did that with Food for Thought. We
did.
We raised quite a lot
did
of money
fantastically.
with that, but we did the all or nothing. So we made it by 3 minutes. But
Okay.
that was us doing
Scary.
the Facebook Live, screaming
Yeah.
our heads off, going please, and then
Yeah.
jumping around when it happened.
Yeah.
But that's scary because
and it's all
otherwise
consuming, right? It's
Yeah.
a very throughout the. I say we raised it in the first 5 days. We did a lot of work gathering people to get involved very
we
early
built
on.
the campaign previous to that to lead up and launch in the correct
And
way.
we didn't realise, I think, for the 28
Early
days,
bird
quite how
discounts,
much
everything.
of a job it is. Like, if you're going to kickstart, you can't just post what you want and then just leave it. You have to keep working at it.
You can, but it will fail.
It will
Yes,
yeah.
it's true. You
It's
can,
going
but
to
it
You
will
have to
fail.
keep working on it, and you have to keep.
Or
we
you'll just
did some
get friends
radio
and family.
interviews. We did some articles. We, friends and family, social media.
But
we
what I mean
reached
is,
out to
if
people.
you just post it online, you'll only get friends and family, and they won't be able to.
It's not enough. Or people put
Yeah.
10, 20
And
quid
it's not.
in.
It's not a proper test of the concept.
So
you
we-
need strangers to love it and get on board and back it. And 3/4 of our backers were people we didn't know and had never met before.
Wow, I think
Um,
2/3
all
of
over the
ours
world.
were. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It was incredible. I mean, ours was a niche market with the
Fantastic.
vegan thing. We're in the edit, by the way, on this. I'm post production.
I'm one of
on
those
the film.
backers.
Thank you very much. I know you're hopefully getting the updates. If you're not, let me know. But it is really important to know who your audience is and target that. And you also knew in the first 24 hours if you hit your target that you wanted to, you could be on the homepage as well.
That's right.
Yeah, so we did
Kickstarter.
all that.
Hit the
We'll
algorithm.
try and keep it swift because it's easy to. We could probably spend an entire
I know.
podcast on
We
each
probably should,
section of
actually.
this,
Yeah.
of the making of this film.
But
yeah,
essentially, we raised 27,500, I think it was,
Yeah.
in the end, and that was
That's-
enough.
yeah, but that's what considering you started on 18 ended up with
18 in 5 days,
Yeah.
and then 27. Yeah, and 18 is the target.
and that was enough
so-
to get us
amazing.
shooting. That's what we were like. Well, that's what we've got. That's what we will make this film for.
And once you take away
And-
Kickstarter fees and stuff like
Yeah.
that, then it came in about 25, didn't it? So-
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, there's nothing like that to motivate you to go, right, we have to actually.
We now have to do
yeah,
this.
we've promised a lot of people to
And I
make this
think
film.
DVDs.
You said at the start.
We have to get them out there.
You said at the start that did you think you could make it for that? I think that's a really important point. It was rough putting it down as 18.5, but there was thought in there. We looked at what we made This Way Out for,
Yep.
and we increased This Way Out was about 20 minutes. We increased the running time by to make it feature length, and then multiplied it and added a little bit
It was
that.
a crude estimate.
But the things with that is, with a short, you maybe 1, 2, 3 days at the most.
At the most.
Yeah.
And therefore you can ask crew to do that.
But-
so on here, you're going, we need you for 2 weeks.
It's a whole
But-
different thing.
Yeah.
But it is a whole different thing. But in terms of the thinking at that point, it was we were confident enough in our ability to problem solve that we would work out how to do it. My feeling was, if required, it would be me, a camera person, and the actors.
Yes. So you were willing to do that anyway. You were like, well, if
Yeah.
that's the
We were
case, we
gonna
don't
make
get
this.
the crew. We're still
Yeah.
going to go
And
make.
it would have still
We are
been a
going to
brilliant.
make this film no matter what. That's
Exactly.
what we decided.
Which was the passion I loved and why I wanted to get on board, because it was like, do you know what? We're going to be down there for 2 weeks in Brighton. Sod it. Let's just get on with this and go make a really cool.
And we
little
actually set
movie.
the dates. So we raised the
Yes.
money in January, and we set the dates for less than 2.5 months later to
Which is
start
very
shooting.
important, right?
We had a small window where
Yeah.
Katie was available, James was available,
Katie
some,
Brainburn,
Just,
some
James
key
just
crew.
won her
Yeah.
Olivier, so she was very
So
in
she was
demand.
busy, and so we were like, right, that's the time we're going to do it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do it in 2 weeks.
And we chose 2 weeks. I want to try and keep a level of order so people listening can really follow this through.
Absolutely,
But so we raised the money. Simultaneous, we were also sort of beginning to rev up pre-production because we could see we were going to reach. We reached it straight away, so we knew it was happening. I'd selected the 2 shoot weeks. And this is important as well, because when you're doing a low budget movie, how you shoot it and for the duration you shoot it and when you shoot it are all important factors. And so I chose 2 weeks to shoot it in because for a number of reasons, but the interesting ones are higher time when you're over a weekend. So we did 2, although we call it 2 weeks, it was 2 7-day weeks.
Yes.
So it was from Saturday through to the next week's Friday, 2 days off, and then Monday through to Sunday. And that meant that we got 14 days, full 14 days for the hire of only two normal weeks, which would normally be 12 days at most, potentially 10.
So you got 2 days for free.
So exactly,
Yeah,
2
of
days
hire
and
kit.
still get 2 days off.
Yes.
So you end up, rather than going into the third week.
Which is very clever. It's a very clever way of doing it.
Second reason,
Yep.
if you want good crew, then they, these days especially, will be turning down work to work on your project. So they could be turning down commercial work or a lot of the time TV work now.
Where they're getting paid. Big
Where
money.
they're getting paid, and TV work is ongoing, and it's not just those days. They might miss out on that entire job. 2 weeks. If you go into 3 weeks, they're potentially having to give up, or there's just more likelihood they'll get offered work during that time. It's harder for them to say yes.
Yeah.
We worked out if we did it in 2 weeks, easier for people to say yes, and you're more likely to get better, more experienced people, and so that's how that worked out.
I'd like to
And you
add
did
here,
as well.
just to say, although we did do a 7-day week, we kept it within 10 to 12 hours a day. We didn't exhaust everybody.
Do you know what? It's a really good point to say that. Yes.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean that you can make a film and just make everybody work for 24 hours, because you would just
No.
get
Yeah.
rubbish results. And I think that's partly down to Statten's absolute perfectionist quality of writing the schedule and rewriting the schedule. And I think that time spent
storyboards.
on scheduling and storyboards and location hunting, that time is crucial if you're going to do a short shoot, I think.
And a short shoot in 20, I think it's like more than 28 locations we have.
This is what we're going to get to. This is so many locations.
It's
This
a
was-
road
So
trip.
that preparation
Yeah.
is vital. That's really important to say. If you're doing a low budget film, I think you want to make every pound count. And that
Don't
means,
do 28 locations.
That means you want
That's what I'd recommend.
that means you want to cover as much as possible in the shortest period of time to fit it into the 2 weeks, obviously. That means you need to know what you're doing. You need to have prepared everything. You need to have found the exact location you want. I think I drove for about 1,000 miles worth of driving to find the locations.
Yeah.
You need to, and so 28 locations, we would have had to at least see 3 for each location to find the right one. So that's 90 odd locations we found and looked through.
Yeah, a lot of prep.
Yes.
That we found and looked through, and a lot of prep. So you've got to prepare, you've got to shot list, but storyboard, know everything, because mostly it was 1 or 2 takes on a set.
Sometimes it was just one with you. I remember you were like, you and Katie were going, can we have another one here? No, moving on. You were like, I've got it. I've got what I need. Don't act anymore. Thank you.
That's
Let's
what
do
I was
it.
saying. That's why I was saying being a producer on set, and and being an actor is just two opposite voices. You know,
There's
as an
one of
actor,
you
you're
going,
like,
"Oh,
please,
what
I can do it better than that. As a producer, you're like, move the hell on right now.
Because you know, as soon as it starts getting dark, well, you're losing light. This is an issue now. You've got a location to get to.
You can't, you know, it's very hard with that level of resource to add an extra date.
Yeah.
And I would say, no matter how much prep you do, something will always turn up. And you know, we did a lot of preparations. You know, we thought it was watertight, and things do go wrong.
Always,
inevitably.
Yeah.
You know, you
That's
lose
why you
locations.
do the prep. It's the famous thing, like you prepare so as much as possible so you can improvise.
Well, and that was it. And this is what was wonderful about watching you direct as well, is that you had everything prepared in your head of how you wanted it. But then when you got to set, you go, not all the time, but a lot of the time you go, actually, yeah, this is nice. Oh, let's do this. And James would come up with ideas. You come up with ideas and be like, right, okay, let's try this. And it was really interesting. But as long as you're prepared, you're okay to then improvise.
You can take
always
the 4
go back.
minutes
Exactly.
to find the better thing, because if you arrive without knowing what you're doing, you use up those 4 minutes and suddenly it's 20, working out how to do it, and you end up just with your first idea. If you come already fully prepared, you've worked through, maybe this is the 7th version of how you think you'd shoot this scene, and then you arrive, you're on your 8th or 9th version in those 4 minutes. And it's important to work out. I worked out, you know, if there's 1,000 decisions to make and you take an extra minute on each decision, that's 1,000 extra minutes time you're going to use up on a 2-week shoot.
This is how he thinks. This is how he thinks.
But
the time.
You have to. If you're going to, on a 2-week shoot, 1,000 minutes, that's almost like
never enough
half a
time.
shoot day, if not longer.
Totally. Especially on a budget like this. And I mean, in total, the budget we want to say is 30,000. Is that right? Is that ish?
No, it's more than that, because so what we raised on Kickstarter, we then, and it's really interesting we then self-financed the rest of it. So it works probably about double that, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say
roughly.
60.
Okay.
I'd say 60, give or take, probably a bit less, because of post.
Yes,
you know, and
post
we got
is
an
what
original
costs.
score with real musicians and amazing sound team and amazing colorist and
you know, I think, and it's important that we're not crazy wealthy or anything, because someone listening to this, I think I previously listening to this would have gone, well, how did I get, how can I get 35 grand to fill that? But what you've got to remember is we did it a bit with This Way Out, was we got to the next stage, and then when you've got something good to show people, either you can find other funders, and looking back, I think we could have actually quite easily taken the rough cut and raised that money ourselves.
Yes,
We just decided we wanted to keep full control and fully take this through ourselves. And you end up, you know, it's not all you're not having to put all your money in one go.
No.
You're sort of dripping it through over a period of a year, maybe a bit
it's
longer.
problem solving, isn't it? It's coming up against an obstacle and going, how can we, you know, afford this, and how do we get the best?
Poppy acts, you did at the time a lot of commercial acting and like doing commercials, and so partly as well because you were like, if I do that commercial,
I'll tell you what, if you've seen someone dusting something or an advert, it's probably Poppy. There you go. Yeah. Toothpaste.
People don't realise this. When I just point out, you know, a few commercials, they go, "That's not you." I think I must just like look totally
For
weird.
2 years, you just rinsed commercials. It was great though, but that's a talent. It's not easy to do that.
And it's nice to invest it in something, you know, creative that you believe in. You know, that's the whole, you know.
Yeah, no, it's really important. I think what I found for me, and this is what was really interesting for me coming in as I'm creative, as you know, I'm very creative. I like to make things. So coming on as a nuts and bolts producer was really interesting for me because
fixer. I call you a fixer.
I came and fixed things,
You
or
did.
I came and just
Giles the fixer.
where to move this truck from there. When will lunch happen and all this? And I found that difficult at first. Honestly, I found that really difficult to
Really?
go. Yeah, because like I say, I'm creative. So that on the first day of shooting, I remember coming on set, going, right, what am I going to do? Do you know what I mean? It was, even though I had 100 things to do with charity and everything else for us to sort out, that I just went, I want to go and create something here. They're creating some magic. How can? I'm not involved in that.
But you know what? I find it is really creative. I think that the producing role is often put into a kind of like, you know, admin place. And actually, I think the producing, getting everything perfect so that the director can be free, so the actors can be free, so that, you know, the DOP can be free, that everybody can do what and create is such a brilliant skill. And I what I found with a lot of the crew on this, and that's, you know, the people we want to work with again are the people who mucked in that way and took on more than one role, and who you know, got their hands dirty, as it were.
Well, literally, we were talking about this earlier, and we had a RV van that we used. It was our van that tracked everyone around everyone. We ended up with kit constantly in it and all sorts
yeah,
of...
it's meant to be for makeup.
Literally shit in it. It was supposed to be for makeup. No one was supposed to shit in the RV. People shattered.
What happened in the RV stays in the RV.
The thing is, it didn't, because Giles and Charity had to empty that shit. And I tell you what, it's very hard to empty shit.
He uses himself in a third person at that point.
Because Giles over there emptied shit.
It's trauma.
It's trauma. It still hurts now.
This is filmmaking.
If you watch poo coming out of an RV van, where do you put it? Right, for one, you have to find a drain. That's hard enough to find a drain.
I think I hid at that point.
But it doesn't all go down the drain. You then have to get a stick and put it down people's poo. This is what I did. This is filmmaking. This is producing. This is what it is.
Find a way to make that sound creative.
Be prepared to hold shit.
Yeah, how is this creative? Tell me. It's a shit job, but someone's got to do it.
You allowed the director to feel comfortable.
Well, he didn't know, but this is what's so lovely.
He didn't know about it.
I always say.
You know what? And that's the best producing. The best producing is doing something and no one noticing.
Totally. There was a amount of times we didn't tell you guys stuff, and Jessica Hodges
That's
as well.
Why you're
the three
amazing.
of us.
Oh yeah, of course,
Josh, second AD, and we just got on with stuff.
So Mary Watson was first AD.
And you know what? But that attitude, you know, not everybody has it, and that attitude is worth its weight in gold. And those like that creates a film. That is what makes a film. It's people getting on with it, just working towards the same focused target, which is get this film as good as it possibly can be. And that's, we were really, really lucky, and we had so many people who did that.
So many amazing people.
Absolutely.
How did it feel on your first day? Because I remember looking at you on that first day, because directing a feature film is a big deal. There's no question about it. It's a big deal. And I remember watching on that first day just going, fucking hell, Stan's on it. This is brilliant. He knows exactly what he's doing. This is fantastic. And everyone could see that in the crew. And it's really important to do that on your first day.
He was quite relaxed, I think, wasn't he?
He gave the
appeared that way.
impression that I'm in control.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, and I listen to me. And it was fantastic. It was really good. But how did you feel now, looking back inside, what was going on? Because you've seen the behind the scenes. You've seen yourself on that day, and you've seen what your eyes are doing. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's great. I know what I'm doing. This is all good. What were you actually thinking and feeling?
Yeah, I think it's because I was also producing as well as directing.
You were
obviously, you guys all doing brilliant.
Sure.
I think I was processing a lot of decisions to be made, not just directorial ones, and so. But overall, I felt very focused. I remember walking, because we stayed with Poppy's parents during it, who looked after our daughter.
For childcare reasons,
looked after our daughter, and also was the sound therapy location.
Yeah.
And I remember walking from there to the location for the first day shooting. It was a different one, but nearby that we'd chosen. And I was on my own. I was walking with my folder. I always went. Have a folder
anyway. I had this
with every.
Folder. I like to do that too.
He loved his
with
folder.
all of the
nothing in it. It's just a folder.
The story. Yeah, exactly.
You should have seen his storyboard drawings. Yeah. It's like a 5-year-old.
And I remember thinking, I'm walking to direct my first feature film on my first day today, and that was slightly other out of body experience in a way. But it didn't last. It lasted about 5-6 seconds walking down this very small alley on my own.
I remember it. Yeah.
And then I popped out the alleyway, and there was the location, the hallway, and everybody, and the RV, and everyone starting.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, let's make this happen. Let's do it.
And then you didn't think back at all for any moment. You didn't worry. You can go, oh God, I'm not going down the right lines here. I'm not. Was there any?
You didn't have time.
I don't tend.
Yes, true.
Yeah, it's just a thing, and it sounds, but I don't. It's about prep. If you've done prep, you don't worry because you've done prep. You know what you intend to do, and when it does something slightly different, you're confident that you can process the information fast enough to alter it, to be in line with, and I don't know if that's something to do with when you also write the script. So it goes through a very thorough process writing, taking it through shooting. And of course, this stress is. I've first AD'd before as well, and it's something I've tried to do as many. For you, I've tried to do as many different roles to really get the feel of that. So I'm very aware of time and ensuring, that if you don't meet your shoot day, then you're going to have to make compromises you don't want to make. And so I think the only thing, knowing it was the first day, it was a 2-week shoot. I think my main thing was I wanted to, as well as achieve all my creative decisions, I wanted to get to the end of the day and not be crazy over. It was fine if it was going to be half an hour or something like that, or an hour even.
Not for me.
I'm so glad you were relaxed though, because I could speak probably I know actually for Katie and I. Acting, the first day we'd been so chilled and rehearsed and happy and everything. We turned up the first day and we were terrified. So it was nice to see a director who wasn't terrified.
Totally.
And no matter how much prep you've done as an actor, the first day is a daunting thing. And we actually shot the film pretty much in order, we should say, which really helped as
that was a decision because of working so fast. I wanted the actors to not have to emotionally jump around too much.
Yeah, well, there were some moments in the producing side of that where we went, right, we're here at this location, we're now got to go there, and then we're back at this location in 4 or 5 days.
Yes, we tried to do that as little as possible.
But it did happen because it was a bit like, why don't we do all this in one go? And most companies would have, and productions would have done that. But it was really interesting for the actors and the performance and for you to go, no, I want to do this journey this way. It meant we had to be very careful not to piss off that location. And to sort of make sure we were tidy and make sure everything was careful in that location. But it worked. It did work.
What that meant was that Katie and I got slowly more tired and relaxed and kind of mental throughout the whole thing, and that suited the chaotic road trip element of it. You watch the film and you'll see us towards the end. We are genuinely emotional wrecks at the end when without giving anything away, and I think that helped, and that's worth its weight in gold. I say just shooting in order, it's not always possible.
No.
And there were 1 or 2 times I think we went back and forth, but it pretty much was in order.
I think as a director, and a director should always be aware of schedule. That's not somebody else's job. The schedule has an impact on your actors, it has an impact on your crew, it has an impact on what you'll get done in a day, and it has an impact on the flow of the story. And so and you should be aware that if you are doing a big jump, if you are doing a big time change, you need to be aware of that to support everyone in making their changes. That could be costume having to alter what they're doing, all of those things. Everything filters to a whole different part of the story where the clothes look totally different because they've ripped now or whatever. And you need to give everyone that extra bit of time and the confidence and support to give them the time and space and focus to properly think their way into that time jump, to settle into that moment. And so the more you jump around, the more you have to work and help that. And that's fine. You just need to be conscious as a director that that's what you're going to have to do, and really go in, speak to each department as they're working, make sure they feel reminded of the size of the jump, of where it is in the film. Your job as a director is to be able to have that overview, to keep everyone else focused on the fact that it's fragmented when you're shooting or whatever, and pull it all together.
It's so true. But yet you as a director get asked so many questions, and this is something that you get told, oh yeah, people are going to ask you questions there, but then you don't realize the extent of it, and your head is on this scene in front of you. I've got 10 minutes to get this done, the light's going, people are screaming, the costume's not working, the hair's all over the place, we need to do that whatever because of some other scene, and someone comes up and asks you a question and it's totally relevant, it's something to do with a river over there for 3 days time, and you have to answer it. And I learned to just give an answer whether I wanted it, whether it was right or wrong at the time. I just said, this is my answer. I say, yes, I want that river at that day. And later on I went, I've changed my mind. But what I never do was say, I don't know, because that doesn't help anybody. But the amount of questions that you have to field is ridiculous, because you're the one leading the ship. So people
you're not allowed to say I don't know, are you, as a director? I heard once that a director's a bit like a surgeon. You don't want your surgeon saying, I'm not sure about this, just before you go into
I don't know about this. What's this do?
I heard an interesting thing that it was
Took it there.
Yeah, I did.
a
Sorry.
neighbour of mine. He started in a new company, and one of the guys he was working for, American company, he moved there. The guy was an ex-commander of like the American forces in Afghanistan, something crazy big. And his answer to that, because he said, you know, you have to make decisions constantly. And he said it's not about a right or wrong decision. It's about, just like you said, making the decision, keeping the army moving. Because the problem is if everything stops.
Yes.
And so that's exactly what you were saying. Sometimes you just have to make a decision, and you might be able to change it later.
Yeah.
But if you've done the prep, you'll probably have made the right decision.
Yes, you have. Yeah, absolutely.
But the extremeness of that, I remember sitting down at lunchtime. I'd always try and take lunch on my own, and it would probably be about 10 minutes, my lunch break.
I know, you get no lunch.
Because you've got work to do. You have to prep for the next everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But in that 10 minutes, it would just be, you know, eat and allow mind just to be, because you're getting asked a question and you're making decisions every 10, 15 seconds for the entirety of the shoot.
We lost a lot of weight during that, actually, I think. If you look at the behind the scenes featurette,
Look at the food.
we're like, let's not talk about the food, Giles.
No
That
wonder
one
you had
may
to
be
clear out the RV.
not our best producing moment.
No, the food was food.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have
survived.
time to eat it anyway, so it's fine.
So where have we got to in the arc of
the story? So
Yeah.
let's tell people what it's about. And we can play the trailer. So
Great.
give us the pitch. Who wants to do the pitch?
Me? Okay. Yeah. So
Make a decision. Make a decision.
yeah, exactly.
I'm handing it over to the director.
So
Go
A
on.
Serial Killer's Guide to Life is a jet black comedy thriller about Lou, who's a self-help addict who's lost in life and unwittingly finds herself on a killing spree with her unhinged new life coach, Val.
Visualize the future you want.
Mum, well, what would you think about me going away to explore myself?
Are you looking for happiness? I can help you.
Come see me if you want to change your life.
I can help you.
I have an ambition to be the greatest life coach in the world.
This is who you can be.
I've lined up some amazing therapies. Don't worry, Marcus. Won't take a second. We'll talk more about this later.
The driver is wanted for a string of murders.
Let's give them a first time to nature therapy welcome.
I'm her life coach. Do you have ambitions, Lou?
Just be like you, really.
Sounds enlightening.
That's what all this is for, to allow us to be who we truly are. Do you believe in you?
What are you doing in my house?
Hi, Mum. I'm not who you think I am.
This is the best decision you've ever made.
I know.
I was talking to myself.
I am honestly, it's such a cool trailer. It's so well made, and it really gives an insight into the film, and it shows you what this film is about, which is dark black comedy. It's taken with a pinch of salt, but it's also real and heartfelt and emotional, thanks to the amazing performances as well, which it's not just coming from me because I know you, but it's coming from the reviews as well.
Yeah.
Literally giving you and Katie and everyone else amazing across the board, and that's just, you know, testament to you, Staten. And
One likened Poppy to Christian Bale in American Psycho.
you look like him. Is that what they said?
Yes. No, they didn't.
Oh, you mean
I was
performance-wise?
light, yeah, performance-wise.
Maybe.
Yeah, and Martin Sheen, I think.
And you kicked off like him on set. They said you look like Martin Sheen.
No, I looked like
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, you were,
Yes, no. So, yes.
Performance-wise.
So,
Yeah.
so okay, that was the trailer. You've heard it. Please do support if you can. At serialkillersguidetolife.com. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. One big advert. I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, it's free. Do support. Why not?
exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I think because I think
Fuck you, don't.
I think
I love you, really.
This is the Make Your Film events coming up, and I think it's really interesting. I still find it interesting watching our film and thinking, okay, that if I'm so glad to have gone through it, and that's how we made it. It's hard to for in such a homemade way. It doesn't look like it. Everyone will think, people have said big people in the industry that have loved it have said to me, what's the budget? I've said, guess, and they've said, £500,000, 700,000. And it's hard to know, but this was edited. It was edited in the same spare bedroom as it was written in.
We should talk about the editing.
Let's
because
talk about the editing.
This was we knew that editing was going to be a big expense, and getting an editor to put that much time and effort into cutting a film is a big expense.
And it really is, yeah.
And so I think we just said, why don't we do it ourselves?
I think it's important to say it wasn't just finance driven, because that makes it sound like that anyone can edit. No. But also it was we've been very involved with the edit of This Way Out, although we had a wonderful editor on that, Esther Jimenez.
Yeah, we'd done the rough edit.
But we'd done an entire rough cut and then taken it out to an editor to her, so that she
we had
didn't
some
have to do the
experience,
thing.
exactly.
So we had cut before, but just the short. But another reason was we wanted to have control, artistic control, and we wanted to be able to do it again, to edit the next film.
Yeah.
And we knew this was the opportunity. As soon as the budget starts to increase much more, obviously no one can take a risk on you just doing it yourself. So we knew that this was the time to learn. You went. It was
something I really wanted to do anyway. I think that was important. It was an interest I had anyway in editing, and so
your brain works in that way. So.
I really I get quite obsessive.
Well, I remember when you both said, right, we're going to edit this. I went, oh fuck, and not in a bad way, because I knew you'd edit it this way, but I went, I'd just done it with the Dare, and I understood that if I'd done that on my own, I'd have got lost. I'd have got lost in where the twists and turns go. How am I going to move this story along on my own? Luckily, I had Oliver Parker, the same editor as Knights of Camelot, and he helped guide me. Without him, I'd have been lost. So I was really worried. Obviously, there was two of you, which really helped.
That's the main thing. And we worked very differently, I think, and we were able to. We learned very early on that we weren't going to sit next to each other and edit at the same time.
Yes.
That we had to pass it back and forth.
Critique each other's work. What have you done with my performance?
Fresh eyes. I think that's one of the biggest things with editing is looking at it with fresh eyes, because you start to get very jaded very quickly with scenes. And I think having someone
something over
and having someone go, what do you think of this? This is my idea. I've shoved this in. What do you think? This is an idea I've had, and it was really nice to pass it back and forth.
Yeah. I remember coming to the first sort of really, really rough cut. I came down and saw some stuff, and I was blown away by how well you'd done. Even at that point, I went, wow, you'd learn how to edit, which is a really big.
I went on an editing course, and
you'd learn.
And I was really lucky to find myself an editing mentor.
Yeah.
In Colin
Gowdy, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah, who's just the most interesting and brilliant editor of
Rogue One. Yeah.
Yeah, and
huge.
And he is such a talent and also such a great communicator. And I went on a course that he was kind of heading.
This is a great story for people who because you say, oh, how did you know the editor of Star Wars?
Yeah,
well, you didn't.
Exactly. So I went on this editing course and silently kind of stared agog at I was probably the least experienced person in the room, and I had the opportunity to speak to him afterwards, and I just asked him some questions, and I basically said, look, I'm editing this film and I'm doing this. Is this right? Am I doing,
even in the right format?
Sometimes I'm looking at my phone and putting things in, or, and I've just got these ideas and I'm just trying them out. And he literally said, that's how I did Star Wars. And said that is editing, and it's problem solving, and it's working things out, and it's using your imagination, it's storytelling, and at any level, whether you've got a massive budget, whether you've got a small budget, it's the same thing. Editing is editing, and nobody knows anything, which is what he,
that's his mantra.
That was his mantra, and it really stuck with me. And I said, look, I think I kind of forced him, really. I kind of said,
listen,
we got on really well, and I made this film. Would you mind looking at it? And it was very rough. It was.
But you were like, can I get in touch with you in a couple of sort of months or so when we've got a rough cut?
And would you mind? And I kind of, poor guy, I just kept messaging him, I think, through Facebook, in fact.
And I think, again, this is where not only being a friendly person who's genuine, but also having a concept that stands out a little bit.
And I admired his work, and I think that and Monsters, did incredibly.
But Stanton's right. It is about the fact that you had a great concept, you had something that was interesting, and you had already looking really good in the edit, and he made this for nothing. You let him know, and suddenly he's going, hang on, I really like this. This has got legs, and I like you.
And he watched it, exactly. He watched it. I remember to this day, he watched it and he got back and he says, you've got a film. And that the relief, he said, no matter what happens from now on, you have a film.
Yeah.
And he guided me through beautifully. He gave some notes, but really beautifully, kind of not pointing them out, but just guiding me through why your decisions here and there, and just made me look at it again through fresh eyes, and he was really motivating actually, and And also, what's nice, it's nice to talk to someone who's as obsessed as you are. I was waking up at 2:00 in the morning, starting up and going, I've got it. I know what we're going to do with this scene. I know how to fix this bit. I know how to do this. It becomes all consuming.
It does.
And I think editing was probably the longest part of the filmmaking process.
Also, it was stretched out, wasn't it? Because we had to put it around childcare.
We had to put it around childcare. We had to learn. We did it in Premiere Pro, and we were learning.
I think, but a lot of it was childcare based, so we weren't able to work every day full out on it. It would be,
and plus you had to
a couple of
earn
days
money.
pause.
You know what I mean? There is that too. You can't.
Absolutely.
You're paying for this yourself, so therefore you've got to earn money to actually sit and do this.
Yes,
and that sometimes you might go, oh, do you know what? I don't want to do this today. I want to just go sit and watch Netflix.
Which is why you have to be so passionate about it, because otherwise it will just get left.
But also, if this wasn't good, you could have also gone, oh, it's not good.
It was great material, exactly. And like you say, we got it in 1 or 2 takes. Yeah. And luckily, those 1 or 2 takes, they were great. We were
I'm not sure if it was lucky. But
I'm not sure it was lucky. It was all great performances, I think.
But what you mean by that is sometimes a wide shot might not match with the close-up. So therefore, you got lucky in terms of the hand was at the right point to cut at that moment, or you'd have to cut at that moment.
And we had to think out the
And
box.
that's where
editing.
rehearsals is important as well. Even if you do them a month before.
Please do them a month before if you can. Yeah.
They bed in with an actor. I even I know we're jumping back here, but rehearsals are really important with film because it's so rarely done, and people think it's just the run through you do while the camera's there and then you shoot.
It's not a luxury.
It's again, if you want to work fast, you have to do this stuff beforehand. You have to take it out of the shoot and do it at a different time earlier. And I got all the nature therapy guys as many as possible. Tommy Wire couldn't because he was in LA. To come and came around to the flat
David,
and just meet each other, be together, and just run the lines. Wasn't about nailing down your performances. It was just running the lines, and that level of familiarity, that just relaxing. Then when you're on set, that's all been done.
Yes,
you've got that out the way.
Again, a bit like with the ideas earlier. That if you prep, you're on your 8th or 9th version of the way you shoot the scene. Same for the actors. They've already done a bit of that meeting up, that first you're on the 3rd or 4th or 5th version of what they're thinking of doing, and everything feels better. So
great. And so then you edited the film yourselves,
picture lock,
picture lock, and then sound mix and grade and all that sort of stuff. But then eventually we said, right, let's do some screenings of this and see what happens.
Just before we jump on sound, sound is
and Lawrence Love
incredibly
with a fantastic score as well.
But sound in sort of separate from music. I think it's really important to pull sound out and say, sound is 50% of your movie, the impact of your film. You have to. Anna Sully, who you
I went on another course, didn't I?
You did.
I don't know anything. I just study it. Yeah,
did
I did.
You go on a sound mixing course?
Paul Davis,
sound design course. Yeah.
Not the
amazing sound designer.
Amazing.
Who did Hunger and other things.
Lynn Manzi's films, and he, I just went on a course and made a load of notes, and again spoke to him afterwards, and because I knew nothing about sound. We knew very little about sound and the impact it has in film.
It's huge, massive.
It's beyond what you can imagine.
The sound mix
and it will save you a lot of money. It can transform a film.
Yeah.
And also, Staten said very early on that he wants this film to sound good. That a lot of independent films are held back by their sound, and that sound was so important.
Yeah. We specifically found a brilliant sound recordist, Freya Clark, with that in mind. I listened to and watched a lot of sound recordists. Videos to see their footage and to see if the dialogue had the rich sound that I wanted. And I found her, and I knew she'd done documentaries single-handedly. She boomed and mixed this whole film, and we did 2 lines of ADR, and neither of those were
We
they
did
were
not
extra
need
lines. We just
ADR
like,
for
And
this
this is
film.
a really windy hill, like absolutely blistering. And we were like, oh, no, chance you're going to have to
She
ADR.
was like a wizard.
amazing.
She was like a sound wizard.
I tried to book her on
Ninja,
stuff after
sound
that,
ninja.
and she was booked
really
up.
busy
I was
now.
like,
We
oh,
can't-
can
yeah,
you
we
come and
probably
do this?
can't
No.
afford her
Yeah,
anymore.
couldn't afford her. Couldn't do well.
She was an amazing discovery. Yeah, and because she was passionate about sound.
And I jump exactly. And so then bringing that back. So then we had good sound recordings.
So basically, yeah. So we had great
But that's the
bassists. We had
first step.
great sound recordings, and again, I spoke to Paul Davis afterwards and said, "Do you recommend anyone sound designer wise?" And he recommended someone that was doing really, really well. Who recommended someone to us, Anna Sully, who we met up with and clicked with pretty quickly. She got it, and
Which
she
is
was,
again important. What you were saying at the beginning. You
her
have
ideas,
to connect.
her ideas were right on the tone.
And
She
precise.
knew about supporting the comedy, but making it dark. She knew about taking it to its kind of twisted place that it ends up in.
She understood precision. Like we'd researched and seen that when you hear the breath of a character, you as an audience subconsciously are put into their shoes.
mind, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the same as if if you hear the footsteps of a character, but although you're in a wide shot, you hear it as if you were next to that character. Again, you're in the POV, the sort of soundscape POV of that character, and you're going to empathise with them more. And I was sort of mentioned those things, and she knew that totally. She was like, yes, that is my profession. In fact, she educated me.
Yeah.
Sound
massively.
is huge in
And she
film.
really
Please
shared
bear it
and,
in mind.
Yeah,
please.
and we asked her a lot of questions, and we said, "Is this how we communicate with you?" Which is partly why I wanted to go away and learn about it, because I wanted to be able to talk in the language of
It's
sound
really
design.
important, yeah.
And then, because I'm aware of the
Some time, and we have got a screening
screening
tonight.
about
Screening's
her.
go to.
Then Lawrence Love Greed, who had done this score for This Way Out, brilliant sound editor. Danny Boyle's sound editor, had sound edited on Lord of the Rings, even though he's an incredibly young guy, hugely talented.
Wow.
We
He's
got him
crazy
This Way Out.
talented.
And again, very quickly, important to say, we got him recommended by a very prolific composer who we got in touch with through someone that knew him and asked, do you recommend anyone? And Lawrence was his assistant at the time.
asking his question.
If you find great people, award-winning people, they're not going to work for you.
No, but they're assistants.
But if you ask them who they recommend, they will give you a list of brilliantly talented people.
because they know talent.
Great
Yeah.
advice.
And then, so Lawrence did that. Full orchestral recording. Went to Leeds for a day. We did it
We
all
were
in a day.
lucky with
His
that.
entire
It was
family,
amazing.
hugely talented professional musicians in big orchestras, which is amazing. He pulled in all the favours. He had his one of his good friends who is an Abbey Road engineer, music engineer. All came in, did it, incredible, and that takes us to.
Yeah. Selling the film
Distribution.
now. And also, I should also say it was 50% female crew as well. Film cast and crew with this film as well.
Yep.
We said that really early on, actually. A
From the beginning said
Kickstarter
we have to do
campaign. We
this.
said, well, look, let's have a 50% crew on set. And I did that. I decided that because doing a lot of commercials, I had, my experience was a lot of men in the crew.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how wonderful to have two perspectives.
That was true, but on the producing side of that, because obviously we're shooting this, and people would be getting jobs during shooting, going, look, I can't do this day, I can't do this day, so we're trying to find someone to fill in, and it was a struggle to find female focus puller, or find a female grip, or find
in some roles it was a
hard.
struggle.
Yes,
I would say in
yeah.
some roles it was surprisingly easy, and it was like, oh, okay,
No problem.
finding a sound recordist, boom operator,
great.
it was really simple. That they are out there, but there are one or two roles where the female
And I think
presence
it's-
is in the minority.
I think it's really important to say as well, it wasn't about excluding guys. It wasn't
Never.
about always we chose the best person for the job.
Yes,
and at the
yeah,
crunch,
true.
it came down to who's the best person. Because also it wasn't about being patronising and
God,
just
no,
giving away
no,
jobs.
no, it's
And I
just
think
what we
that's really
wanted to do.
important to say though, because it was about that. But the notion of the 50-50 was to just have a more balanced perspective
And I
on
really
set
felt
and
that.
energy.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't about it has to be exactly this or exactly that.
No,
it was
yeah,
then
it
that.
was-
And I think that's
yeah.
important to say as
It
well.
is. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. But it was fascinating, and interesting. And maybe it's because it was, there's no money here, so come and help us. It was just harder. It was just one of those things where the working grips women, and it's a little harder to go. Well, of course I'll come and do your no budget thing. It just is. They didn't know it was going to be this good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no one
No,
does.
exactly.
And I'd like to add just briefly, I discovered that, as a mother myself, I think working mothers get sidelined sometimes because they've got kids and they might be busy and they can't do stuff. I actually targeted a lot of mothers for roles in this film, and I would say working mothers get things done. They will give you the time that they can do it in, they will deliver. And, we had some voiceover artists, we had a production designer, we had lots of people who were juggling childcare. But what they do have is they know what they can achieve in what time, and they give that to you, and they are clear and correct, and, and they deliver. And that was really great to do as well.
Yes. Yeah, it was. And just some fantastic... do you know what? Watching the behind the scenes the other day really reminded me of how, an amazing time it was. And, shout out to Dave Newman as well.
Dave,
a fella who helped out massively on the producing side and getting stuck in and making stuff happen.
Who was also in the film.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant in the film as well. Of course,
he was dual talented.
Another husband and wife team that helped bring this charity and Dave.
Really, it's just brilliant that we all just came together and it was 2 weeks of madness. I mean, I say that before and after, it's still stuff happening, and even now, the film's out today, it's still happening. So it's wonderful. So now we go on to getting the film sold.
So we'll keep this as brief because we've only got a couple of minutes before we've got to be in the cinema.
Go and the baby's outside.
Again, we researched, we looked up what the best way of doing this was, of holding a sales screening. We reached out. Colin actually put us in touch with Vertigo as well, who'd sold Monsters, because Colin had become a champion for the film. It was a wonderful time when he said this is the best British independent film I've ever seen, and wonderful things like that.
Wow, so nice.
So then we did send it to these links as well, and some distributed screenings, and then we held a sales screening ourselves at the Soho Screening Rooms.
That's a nerve-wracking
Soho
time.
Screening Rooms is a very good value place where a lot of industry screenings are done for sales agents
Centre
and things
of town,
like that.
people
right
will turn up.
And so we had a good number. We had about 40 salespeople.
Yeah.
We just emailed them and invited and sent a little teaser trailer. I
sweated in the back.
Yes, I remember.
We'd been accepted by Edinburgh a few months before for the Edinburgh Works in Progress screening.
You helped
so
massively.
I went up to Edinburgh, flew up to Edinburgh, and was part of that, and had salespeople watch that. So we'd started to build some connections. Came and saw it. Then we had some offers on the table.
Which is incredible to know that people like it as much as we do, and sort of go, actually, it's all
and
right.
I would add as well, industry screenings, they're not fun.
No,
they're never fun. They're never what you want. They're not your maybe your target audience. There's lots of single people who on the lunch break and they're busy.
Yeah, but as a tip, it's worthwhile getting some of your cast and crew to try and come along if they've not seen it, because they will laugh and help out.
You want some friendlies in there
as much as I could.
Knew
it so.
I was laughing at my own jokes.
Yes,
and that's not just about trying to. It's not just about trying to make the salespeople think that other people are laughing. It helps the atmosphere, and everyone feels more easy to laugh and enjoy it. Everyone relaxed.
It does. So we came away from that, and Arrow Films, who came to see it, very happy with it, and putting the offer them, we said, we really like them. And you did the deals
Fantastic
with them.
people.
I looked into them. We did our due diligence. Spoke to
they
people that
really
I
loved
worked
the film
with,
as well, and I think that's what's really important. They got the film
and
they were passionate about it.
Brilliant team.
And we're just quickly on that deal. How difficult, because you did the deal, how difficult was that for someone who hadn't done a deal like that before and doing your own independent film?
Well, it's starting to be unusual because obviously he started to study law for a bit.
I love you too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like I did sound mix and just editor, studied law.
So he didn't actually get. He got as far as contract law. But that was really useful. I mean, it was the first term or something, I think. And
first few terms of first,
you did have that
it was a sort of evening thing. I was
understanding.
interested in
Got
studying
kicked out,
a bit.
obviously.
And then you stopped and decided, I'm going to make
radical.
films, of course. Much more sensible.
Yeah.
But so you did have that advantage in the fact that you could understand contracts.
Yeah, and so I
that's
negotiated
important,
that.
isn't it? To understand the contract when it gets put in front of you, and you've got your film. How to do that,
and and it's about thinking about what you might want to do. So, for instance, making sure you've got you've got the right to do some one-off special screenings of the film at cinemas if you want to.
Yes.
Because if you don't carve that out and put a line saying that you're allowed to do that, you won't be allowed to do it. And a lot of the time, distributors, what they'll have sent you, it will be roughly a template contract, and they'll have just stuck down what they'd like. They won't be thinking about, maybe they'd like to do a one-off screening or whatever. It's your job to put that in and negotiate that in a friendly way. It's not, when I say negotiations, that's not a battle, but it's about, and so you want to think, might I want to do this? Might I want to do that? If they don't sell, if they take worldwide rights, but they don't sell in Australia in 18 months' time, what's going to happen? Okay, I'll put a line in saying the rights will revert back to us. Well, is that acceptable to them? Backwards and forwards, all of that kind of, backwards and forwards. And then they might say, actually, we're planning this, so you can't do that. And then you might say, well, what about this? And you find a compromise. So you end up with a document. I think of a contract as not just this binding legal thing. I think of it as an agreement about what we might want to do and about what they might want to do.
Absolutely.
And if you get that right, you're both on very solid terms because you both understand what you're both planning.
Perfect.
And on that note, I know we have to wrap up because we have a film to present.
To go and present. A serialkillersguidetolife.com.
.com.
Poppy, thank you so much for joining us on this week's
Giles,
Film
and thank you for everything you've done.
My pleasure. Go out and watch this film. Go out and watch it now.
And please do tell us what you think. We're so excited to release it. On all the different platforms to and for you guys all to watch
Today is out now. Super excited.
And the soundtrack is out on Monday on the 20th, which you can pre-order.
Beautiful.
Lawrence Love Greed's music is just gorgeous.
Stunning. Thank you very much. Remember, if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it's your duty to send that elevator back down. We will see you next Tuesday. serialkillersguidetolife.com. Go watch it. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Let's go. Quick. Run.